What do you know about this mound?
Well, it says it's 41 metres high, 226 steps to the top.
Good if you lived near here, you could run up and down it for exercise. So, the French and Napoleon were over there, and Wellington and his allies were on this side. And over there was where the Prussians emerged. Now, this apparently was the first time that Napoleon and Wellington had actually fought each other in person in battle. Wellington had fought French forces in the Peninsular War, but this was the first time they'd actually met. And everybody talks about their personalities, but what I always identify with is the soldier on the ground. I don't know why. I always imagined that that's where I would end up in one of these situations. Now, I did once hear that there was a foot soldier's account from Waterloo. Now, the foot soldiers would have been not literate men, and I've never found it, but I did find an account by an ensign, the lowest form of commissioned officer. His job was to stand there with the ensign, a standard bearer. He'd be a target, and he talked about what it was like to be in the middle of the British Square, the famous British battle formation. And he said he couldn't breathe for the fumes, the smoke and the smell of the discharged cartridges. He couldn't move left or right for the writhing, wounded, dying bodies around him. And he said that the screams of the dying were unbearable. And although the sight of the cavalry charging towards them was terrifying, in actuality, it was a relief, respite, for they weren't being fired on by the artillery. That gives you an account of what it was like to be in the middle of the British Square. That's an extraordinary image, isn't it?
It brings it alive.
Yes.
It's just not something you think of when you pass through Waterloo Station, named after what happened here.
Yes, well, another way of looking at it was that the underplaying of Christopher Plummer's Duke of Wellington defeated the overripe camembert of method acting given by Rod Steiger's Napoleon. When the Duke of Wellington was an old man, is when people started building railways, investing in the railroad, and Wellington hated all that. He didn't like the idea of people at stations looking in at travelling people. Maybe it was because he was so famous and he would have felt trapped by a train. Well, here we are. Where to next? Where do you think, Mark?
Well, how about catching the fast train to Cologne and picking up the Amsterdam-Prague sleeper?
The Amsterdam-Prague sleeper.
Then we could head south in the Czech Republic and perhaps see another Napoleonic battlefield. How about this? How about one where Napoleon won?